The 4-H Home Spud kids will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Post. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard. Post. Retreat.
Thank you all very much. You may have a seat, please. I'd like to welcome everyone to the October 2014 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. At this time, would you please give your attention to the emergency announcement?
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
At this time, the commission will come to order. Please register your presence by voting yes.
You have 18 present, 3 absent. You have a quorum.
Mr. Clerk.
You have 19 present, 2 absent.
We have 19 present, 2 absent. Commissioner Kaler has a conflict tonight. Commissioner French is a pallbearer in a funeral. So at this time, the chair will stand for a motion to set the agenda.
So moved.
Commissioner Carver moves.
Second.
Commissioner Samples sets. Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized, sir.
I would like to request that Resolution 14-10-010 be added to the agenda. And Resolution 14-10-008 be added to the agenda.
Are you the sponsor on both?
I am listed on both.
Without objection, these items will be added. Hearing no objection, item 14-10-010 will be F10. 14-10-008 will be F9.
Mr. Chairman, could we add those to the consent calendar, or at least one of them?
Yeah, mine is, yours is 8.
They've been added by unanimous consent. Do you wish to ask to amend that?
One was switched, but I don't have anything.
Let's take 10. That's been added. 8 and 10 have both been added by unanimous consent.
I don't know
Well,
what's
we're trying to find them.
item 10. It will become item 10. Look at the last part of your package, items not on the agenda. You will find 3 that were filed timely: 1410-008, 1410-011, which we haven't addressed yet, and 1410-010. And Mr. Akert asked permission to add 1410-010 and 1410-008, and I asked if there was an objection. I heard no objection, so they've been added, and I've assigned them item numbers. Item 10 will be F10, and item 008, resolution 008, will become F9. Does anyone wish to add the county attorney's resolution?
If I can find the number, yes, sir.
The number of Commissioner Farmer is 1410-011.
I would like to ask that the county attorney's letter be
Placed on the agenda.
placed on the agenda, 1410-001.
011.
011.
That's correct. Without objection, item 1410-011 will be added.
Join the lawsuit.
Is there objection? Hearing no objection, that will become F8. Discussion. The pending motion is to set the agenda with items F8, F9, and F10 to be added to tonight's agenda. Is there discussion? Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask that item F2 be withdrawn since it was sent here in violation of our rules. At the agenda meeting, the motion was made by yourself, Mr. Chairman, but a motion to reconsider, but a motion to reconsider can only be made by the prevailing side, and you were not of the prevailing side. Therefore, this has been put on the agenda in violation of our rules. So I ask that it be withdrawn from the agenda.
There's a request that be withdrawn. Is there objection to the request?
Yes, sir, I object, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, there's objection. Is there a motion?
I move that it be withdrawn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. There were several people absent at the time this occurred. When the vote was tallied, there were 10 votes with an abstention. In the discussion, Mr. Caskey replied, "My vote is incorrect." It was irrelevant whether there was another motion made or not. Now, if you would like to ask Mr. Caskey how he voted, it would have been very simple if his vote had simply been corrected. But it doesn't matter. It's here, it came out, it passed, it's on the agenda tonight.
Commissioner Samples, you're recognized.
If there had been an objection, it should have been made during that meeting. But at the close of the meeting, I believe the minutes were set at that point. So I raise that as a point of order. Ask for the chair's ruling.
There's been a point of order raised. The chair rules that 2 wrongs don't make a right. The motion's still on the floor. Commissioner Monroe, do you wish to speak for the second time?
Yes, I'll just simply say that there's a big space between the yes and the abstain button. I might believe that then you could accidentally hit the no button, but there's an awfully big space between the yes and the abstain button. So I think that the honorable thing to do is to withdraw this. It could come back next month. Thank you.
Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized.
It's still on from before, but it's pretty much what I was getting ready to say.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to remove item F2 from tonight's agenda. Vote yes to remove the item. Vote no to let the item remain on the agenda. A yes vote removes it from tonight's agenda. A no vote leaves it on the agenda.
We have 6 yeses, 12 noes, 1 abstain.
6 yes, 12 no,
My vote's wrong.
and 1 abstain. Commissioner Daly, do you wish to change your vote?
Yes.
Announce your vote, please.
Yes.
7 yes, 12 no. The motion fails. F2 is on the agenda. The pending motion now is to set the agenda, placing the items F8, F9, and F10 on tonight's agenda. Commissioner Allen, you're recognized.
I'd like to make a motion to place 1410-008 on the consent calendar.
Motion to place 1410-008 on the consent calendar. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Sample seconds. Discussion. You recognize Mr. Akerd? Okay. The pending motion is to place Resolution 1410-008 on the consent calendar. Vote yes to place it on the consent calendar. Vote no not to place it on the consent calendar.
We have 17 yeses and 2 noes.
17 yes, 2 noes. Item F8 is now moved to the consent calendar. Now the pending motion is to set the agenda with items F9 and 10 on the agenda, with F8 on the consent calendar. Commissioner Monroe, for what purpose do you seek the floor? You spoke twice to the setting of the calendar, of the agenda.
I just want to know, if I want to vote on B2 separately, do I have to request that now? On the consent calendar, if I would like to can I vote on B2 separately, or do we have to do that now, or can we do that when we get to the consent calendar?
That could be done at the time we
Okay,
bring up the
that's
consent
fine.
calendar.
Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to set tonight's agenda with items F9 and 10 on the agenda and F8 on the consent calendar. Vote yes to set the agenda. Vote no not to set. Commissioner Crowe.
We have 18 yeses and 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no. Tonight's agenda is set. The next item of business is the consent calendar. The chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
I move that we vote on B1, B3, and B4 together. And I would like to vote separate. Move now passage of
You're
B1, B3, and B4.
You're requesting that item B2
Be
be
voted.
removed from the consent calendar
It
and be
doesn't-
voted on separately.
It doesn't, we can vote on it now just as long as they vote separately, that's all.
The chair will stand for a motion to approve items B1, B3, and B4, and item F2. Doesn't require.
You need B2, right?
Mr. Commissioner Samples moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Lewis seconds. Discussion? Do you seek the floor, Commissioner Monroe? Okay. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve items B1, B3, and B4, and item F2. Excuse me, I need to clarify, that's F8. That's Resolution 14-10-010, sponsored by, 008. Let me restate the motion, please. I think I've got everyone sufficiently confused. The consent calendar items that we're voting on will be items B1, B3, B4, and Resolution 14-10-008, a resolution of Blount County in support of Amendment 1 on November 4 general election ballot and encourage support of the same. Are we clear? Yes, sir. Chair apologizes. The board's being cleared. The question was put to the commission wrong, incorrectly. Please vote yes to approve those items. Vote no not to approve. Commissioner Stinnett?
And 17 yeses and 2 abstentions.
17 yes, 2 abstain. Any members wish to change their vote? Consent calendar items B1, 3, and 4 in Resolution 14-10-008 are approved. Now the chair,
B2.
Mr. Commissioner Samples moves that B2 be approved. Is there a second? Commissioner Carver seconds. Discussion. The pending motion is to approve consent calendar item B3. 2. Discussion on the item. Are the members ready for the question? The motion is to approve item B2. Vote yes to approve. Vote no not to approve.
And 16 yeses, 3 noes.
16 yes, 3 noes. Item B2 is approved. This time, the next item of business is public input on items on the agenda. If you'll come forward, please, Ms. King.
Thank you. I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future. I represent the private sector. I'd like to speak on F2 and F5. This is a new commission, and I would think they would want to follow the rules correctly. Robert's Rules of Order was openly
Ms. King,
violated.
that's been voted on.
Okay,
So if
I'll
speak to the
finish that
next
one.
item.
F5, you'll be discussing a rules change wherein items need only 5 days to be added to a packet instead of the historical 5 working days. It should remain at 5 working days to give commissioners time to study the subject. We're looking for a more open, transparent government. We're also looking for educated votes from our commissioners. And I think that 5 working days gives them more opportunity to study what they're actually going to vote on. So I think that change should stay with 5 working days. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Jim Hinkle, live in District 10, and I wish to speak on item F7. I think most of you that really know me know that I really put a lot of effort into doing things for kids, and I strongly believe in education. And with education, we have to have proper law enforcement to ensure that we have safe schools for our kids. I know that at least one of the commissioners has been on a ride-along with the drug task force and can really elaborate in what that task force is all about. And I stand before you speaking as someone who has personal knowledge in regard to drugs. My daughter, who's 47 now, was married to a man who had a drug problem. He started out with marijuana, and it progressed with crack and coke and all the other stuff. He died at a ripe old age of 40. He stole from his own father, sold outboard motors. He ran a marine dealership for him. He sold motors out the back door for a third of what they actually cost his father. My 22-year-old grandson, when he became a freshman in high school, had the privilege of attending the largest high school in the Southeast. And he told me at the very beginning, he said, you can get anything you want in regard to drugs in this school. And I guess it proved to be true because he tried some of them. And he's still floundering around at age 22. He is off of drugs and so forth. But when it comes to any enforcement, as far as the law is concerned, this drug task force, I know, does a tremendous job in regard to protecting not only us as citizens, but our kids. And I think anything that we can do to promote and help that drug task force, we need to be doing it. So I strongly urge you to approve this. Some people may say, maybe we can't afford it. I say, I don't think we can afford not to. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come forward, sir. Ma'am, excuse me.
Yes, I would like to address in the new business F6, the resolution to name the bridge on the Wallen Highway in honor of Commissioner Gordon Edward Wright. My name is Shirley Rupert, and I'm a 28-year resident of Wallen. I live in Leatherwood Estates on Tannery Road. And I appreciate the fact that Mr. Wright was a fine man, and he was a good commissioner and worked hard in the community. But the area that we live in has a lot of history as far as with the Little River Railroad, the beginning of the Little River Railroad, and the Wallen Tannery. And what I would like to ask is that the commission to reconsider the naming of that bridge to reflect the community and the people in that area, as opposed to honoring a single individual. And I know that there's another bridge in Townsend in which he worked at to restore and was trying to bring it back to its original, and it just makes more sense that that would be the one that he would be dedicated to as opposed to the Little River Railroad Bridge. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come forward, sir. Apologize, Miss Rupert. I'd seen the gentleman's hand behind you. That's why I said come forward, sir.
I'm Keith Miller, and I'm in District 4, and I had two items that I wanted to address. One, I believe, has been labeled F10, and it is what I call the Courthouse Resolution, Resolution 14-10-010. And in my view, this resolution puts teeth into the Commission's request that they be informed about what is going on with the $1.3 million that was approved way back in July for a new payroll system. The fact that details have not been forthcoming suggests that someone is trying to pull a fast one. And so that's my comment on F10. I have a comment also on agenda item 5, and that has to do with a complete packet being thrown at the commissioners and the general public even later than it's thrown at them these days, right now. It reminds me of Obamacare, the Obamacare Act, and the comment that it could be read after it was passed. I urge the commission to vote no on item 5. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Abbott.
I'm Helen Abbott, District 4. I want to speak on F6. It would be fitting to name the bridge after Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Wright gave 12 years to the county commission. Very few meetings he missed. He served on numerous committees and chaired many. He gave many hours, as many of you are beginning to realize that you're having to give now. Commissioner Wright graduated from Wallen High School. He has lived in the Wallen community for many, many years. Commissioner Wright is a descendant of Colonel John Tipton. He is also a descendant of Fighting William Billy Tipton. Fighting William Billy Tipton was the first landowner in Cades Cove. I know the Little River Tannery it was a great asset to the community when it was here, but it has gone. And if they wanted to, we should have been thinking about naming the bridge after the tannery before now. Commissioner Wright worked hard to preserve the rich history of Blount County. So let's take that into consideration. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, the next item of business is D1, to confirm the appointments to the Public Records Commission. The Honorable Ron French, the Honorable William Brewer, and Betty Best. The chair will stand for a motion. Commissioner Melton moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. Discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to confirm the appointments. Vote no, not to confirm.
You have 17 yeses and 1 no.
17 yes, 1 no. The appointments to the Public Records Commission are confirmed. The next item of business is D2, to confirm the appointments to the Purchasing Commission. The Honorable Mike Lewis, the Honorable Steve Samples, Jerome Moon, and the Honorable Thomas Cole. Is there a motion? Commissioner Daly moves. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Melton seconds. Commissioner Lewis, you're recognized, sir.
Just one Question, Mr. Chairman, is the reappointments, I don't think are due until January. Is it appropriate to go ahead and do those at this time?
I think it's your discretion.
If they're not due for reappointment, the chair will entertain an amendment to the motion or a request.
I would amend, since the 3 reappointments aren't due until January, that we only consider the appointment of Thomas Cole.
Commissioner Lewis asked that we vote only on Thomas Cole. Without objection, Chair asks unanimous consent to only entertain the Honorable Thomas Cole. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, the motion will be to confirm the appointment of the Honorable Thomas Cole to the Purchasing Commission. Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Akert, do you wish?
Given the state guidelines that we have a separate committee for both budget and purchasing, there's no doubt in my mind that Mr. Cole's a fine, upstanding citizen, but I believe the spirit of the law should have those 2 separate bodies remain separate rather than being the same group of people on both committees and just being separated only by name. So I would move that we send that back to the mayor and ask him to designate someone else to that committee.
I don't. First of all, his motion would be a motion to amend. It would have precedent over the motion, the main motion. But I believe, if I understand the 57 Act, without a doubt, state law provides that they can be the same. But the Budget Committee and the Purchasing Commission can be one and the same. And I'm fairly positive the Budgeting Act of 57 does allow for that to happen. Mr. Vineyard, could I ask you if you read the statute the same? I hesitate to put you on the spot, but if your interpretation of the statute.
They can be have the same makeup, but I don't have the law in front of me, but that is true. They can have the same makeup.
Is there a reason why we feel the need that we have to do that?
That's the way they stand, and that's the way they've been appointed. The motion to send it back to the mayor, I really question, because I don't know if the mayor has authority to divide them.
It was the mayor's recommendation that we confirm him.
Yes. So
Okay.
That's the motion that's on the floor, but the motion to send it back to the mayor, we'll go ahead and vote on it. So the motion is to send this appointment back to the mayor, requesting the mayor separate the 2, the committee and the commission. Discussion on the motion to separate the 2. Commissioner Monroe seconded. Are the members ready for the question? And we're voting on the amendment to the main motion to send it back to the mayor with a request to separate the committee and the budget committee and the purchasing commission. So if you vote yes, you're voting on the amendment to send it. Well, actually, it's a motion to refer it back to the mayor. So vote yes to send it back to the mayor. Vote no, not to send it to the mayor.
With 6 yeses and 13 noes.
6 yes, 13 no. The motion fails. The pending motion now becomes to confirm the appointment of the Honorable Thomas Cole to the Purchasing Commission. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to confirm the appointment to the Purchasing Commission of the Honorable Thomas Cole. Vote no not to confirm. Commissioner Carter.
We have 18 yeses and 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no. The appointment's confirmed. There's no business under item E. The next item of business is F1. The chair will stand for motion on F1, Resolution 1410-007, to amend the general county fund budget by $30,500. Commissioner Samples moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-007. Commissioner Ankert, do you wish to speak? After you speak and yield the floor, turn your button off. Commissioner Miller, you're recognized.
Yes, I have some questions on this resolution.
Ask the question.
Is Mr.
Ask the chair the question.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman Rowe. I'd like to know, will Blount County be paying all the legal fees for this process?
Okay, this resolution has to do with amending this current year's budget out of reserve funds for the Circuit Court Clerk's office.
Okay, yes, sir.
You still have the
Excuse me.
question?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong subject. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to know, why is it that the cost for the services and the agreements of this is $26,500 when the equipment cost is $4,000? And I don't know if there's anyone here from the office that could answer this, but also, why wasn't the commission given detailed copies of the services and agreements in the packet? And why isn't there a list of the equipment being purchased for the $4,000?
Mr. Vineyard, would you mind, it came through the Budget Committee, can you answer any or all of those questions? If not, I totally understand.
The bulk of the expenses for software and licenses.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Do we have a list of how old this equipment is? There's nothing in here other than it just tells us it's buying equipment, but how old is it? Or how young is it? Also, why was this not included in the annual budget? Why couldn't this have been put in June?
I don't see Mr. Hatcher here this evening. Mr. Vineyard, would you like to respond?
Primary software operating system that the clerk's office uses, they have been updating that and converting to that new system. The next progression was for them to update their PCs that they operate. I do not know the specific age of these computers, but if it's like the rest of the computers the county has, it's long overdue.
Commissioner Monroe, do you still seek the floor?
I just want to say I'm not comfortable with voting for this without seeing a list of how old this equipment is. This is a department that tends to spend a lot of money, and I think we need a little more detail before I'm comfortable voting on it. Thank you.
Mr. Vineyard, do you wish to be recognized?
Yes. One thing I would, since we do have some new commissioners, there is a provision in the law that enables the county governments all across the state to take a portion of the clerk's fees that are collected through adjudication and set it up as a reserve for future needs for data processing. And that is where this is funded from, and we have those similar provisions in other fee offices in county government.
Commissioner Samples, you recognize.
I would just remind everybody that in your packet, there is a letter from Mr. Hatcher dated October 2nd, 2014, which explains exactly what Mr. Vineyard just reminded us, this money is, it's up to the clerk how he spends it, and it can only be spent on revitalization and data processing equipment. And this is not property tax money. It's collected money from users of the system and can only be spent for this purpose.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized for the
I
second
can
time.
appreciate that, but we still have the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that this money is spent wisely. I move to postpone until the commission meeting in November so that we can be given a list of the equipment, that's how old it is and exactly what we're purchasing.
Motion to postpone by Commissioner Monroe. Is there a second? Commissioner Miller seconds. Discussion on the motion to postpone. Commissioner Allen, you're recognized.
I just want to remind everybody that these are licensing fees, and I'm sure they're, like most licensing, they're time sensitive. So I know Mr. Hatcher isn't here to answer this, but we just need to be careful not to let our, clerk's office run out of their licensing by postponing.
The pending motion is to postpone this matter to the November commission meeting. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to postpone. Vote no not to postpone. Please vote.
6 yeses, 13 noes.
6 yes, 13 noes. The motion to postpone fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-007. It's not in order. Haven't been recognized. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
Yeah, 15 yeses and 4 noes.
15 yes, 4 noes. Resolution is adopted. Next item of business is F2. Chair will stand for motion on F2, Resolution 14-10-006. A resolution authorizing Trinity Benefit Advisors to provide an online benefit open enrollment administrative system for the plan year of 2015.
Motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Farmer moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-006. Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized.
I object to the consideration of this question, given how it made it on the agenda.
Consideration of the question must be moved before the chair states the question to the body, so it's not in order. If after the second you would have objected and moved objecting to consideration, that would have been in order, but I stated what the question was, so it's not in order. Discussion? Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Monroe?
Mr. Chairman, we were informed that this did not go through the bid process, so I move to send it back and send it out for bid.
Motion to refer by Commissioner Monroe. You're referring it back to, you're referring it where?
Where should it be sent back? Should it be sent back to the HR or to the budget committee?
Commissioner Monroe makes a motion to refer back to the Budget Committee this item. Is there a second? Commissioner Archer seconds. The pending motion is to refer this item back to the Budget Committee. Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized to speak on the motion to refer.
Chairman, thank you. This had been bidded out, and I don't see Drew here tonight, but there was a 4 or 5 different people gave him bids on this 60,000, and I'm looking for it as I speak. But the 60,000 was quite a bit less than the other companies who offered to serve us in this capacity. We have this needs to be done here in the next few weeks, and if we put this off, our employees, our 2,000 employees, are not going to be able to do their open enrollment, and we're going to put them in a fix, and we're going to be in a fix. We only have 2 human resource people, and if there's no way they can serve 2,000 people in the next 4 weeks. So this was bid out, and I did, Commissioner Monroe, I tried to call you to deliver this to you, and you didn't return my phone call, so I had the bid for you, honey.
Commissioner Lewis, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On the motion to refer.
I was just going to reference Mr. Mann is here if he would like to address that issue.
Only on the motion to refer. If you'd like to come forward and speak on why this should not be referred back to the Budget Committee, the chair will entertain that.
Oh, that's true.
Good evening, Commissioners. What the HR Committee asked me to do was to go out and solicit pricing for online enrollment systems. I believe in your packet, I know for the HR Committee that I provided those. I have some of those other pricing in front of me. The $60,000 pricing was the lowest of the 5 bids that we received. The highest was $157,000.
Let's be in order, sir. Commissioners, let's be in order and listen to Mr. Mann. Thank you.
So I appreciate the question that was asked, but this was bid out by my office.
Thank you. Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized.
Call for a question, Mr. Chairman. We beat this dead horse enough.
Is there, previous question's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Non-debatable vote yes to move the previous question, which will be to vote on the motion to refer. Vote no to continue discussion. Vote yes to move to immediate vote on the motion to refer. Vote no to continue discussing the motion to refer. So if you vote yes, we'll vote immediately on the motion to refer. If you vote no, we'll continue discussing.
Fifteen yeses and 4
15 yes, motion to move previous question carries. Vote yes to refer this item to the Budget Committee. Vote no to continue tonight to vote on this item. Need clear the board, please. The question, the pending motion is to vote yes to refer this to the Budget Committee. That's Commissioner Monroe's motion, was to refer this back to the Budget Committee. That's the pending motion. Vote yes to refer it. Vote no not to refer.
Got 5 yeses and 14 no.
5 yes, 14 no. The motion to refer fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-006. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the other 7th District Commissioners attempt to inform me, but the proper place for that information is in our packet, and it's not in there. Thank you.
Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized for the second time if you seek the floor. Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-006. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
We have 16 yes, 3 noes.
16 yes, 3 noes. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F3. Chair will stand for motion on F3, a request from the Comptroller to enter into the minutes a letter from the Comptroller of the State of Tennessee. Commissioner Samples moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to enter into the minutes a letter from the Comptroller of the State of Tennessee. Discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to enter into the minutes. Vote no not to enter.
We have 19 yeses.
19 yes, 0 no. The letter will be entered into the minutes. Next item of business is F4. The chair will stand for motion on F4, Resolution 14-10-003, a resolution to amend the zoning resolution of Blount County, Section 7.4-D-7A, tower separation requirements. Commissioner Allen moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-003. Are the members ready for the question? The motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-003. Vote yes. I see a light just came on. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It seems to me that the tower separation request is a major change from what we have present. It seems unnecessary to me. If this was Los Angeles County, where we have miles and miles of abutting neighborhoods, it might make sense to have a tower in your backyard. But that is not the case in Blount County. We have a lot of open space, a lot of agricultural space. So I don't see a reason to make such a drastic change for something that doesn't seem necessary. So I'd like to move that this goes back to the Planning Commission in its original form, and if they want to bring it back up in front of our commission, that they should do so with a specific reason for the change.
Okay, I have a motion to refer back to the Planning Commission by Commissioner Archer. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Akers seconds. Discussion. The pending motion is to refer Resolution 14-10-003 back to the Planning Commission. Discussion. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Like a lot of things, it didn't make it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like a lot of things, this didn't make it into our packet, but there was a letter in my box saying that the Maryville Region Planning Commission voted 4-2 against sending a favorable recommendation on this. So I think it deserves some more attention. I don't think the public is quite aware of the impact that this would have. The minimum footage now would be 85 feet. My back deck is roughly 40 feet. I can't imagine having a tower that's only 2 lengths of the back of next to my property that would only be double the length of my back deck roughly. So I support sending this back for reconsideration. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen, you're recognized to speak on the motion to refer back to planning.
Yes, the reason that we do not need to refer back to the Planning Committee. Being on the BZA, this has been going on for, I think it's been 8 months now, and the reason is the BZA has to approve these by law. It cannot be aesthetically pleasing. The CA or FCC requires that these be allowed. You can't not let them come in. The towers are designed to collapse upon themselves, so the only way that you can have a setback, if you will, is for safety reasons, and that was the 10 foot above the tower height. So we had AT&T and Sprint and all of them come in, and they said that these towers are engineered so if they were to fall, they would collapse on themselves. But we did put a 10-foot buffer in this, talking about we being the planning commission. So the reason that this is in your packet is because the BZA was overwhelmed approving the amendments, the exceptions to the rule, because they cannot deny them. And so that's why it's in your packet, and that's why we're bringing it down to a reasonable level. The one that triggered this was a 25-acre plat that the tower would not fit on. So it's a bigger area than you would think to need that kind of separation.
Pending motions to refer the item back to the Planning Commission. Commissioner Daly, you're recognized.
Can I have some clarification on who cannot deny when you were talking? This is to Mr. Allen.
Commissioner Allen, you're recognized to answer, please, sir.
Yes, according to the county attorney, Mr. Garrett, the county cannot deny the erection of a cellular tower. And we can't deny the erection of the cellular tower but due to the setback limitations. And that was told to us by him and AT&T and Sprint and Verizon during our BZA meetings.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Akert, you're recognized, sir.
Why are we voting on something that we can't deny?
We're setting the resolution, the amendment to the zoning resolution prescribes setbacks.
Okay.
So
but
you made the motion to refer this back to planning. So do you wish to withdraw your motion? Okay. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized for the second time, sir.
It seems to me that this is an issue that, as Mr. had mentioned, I think very few in the public are aware of this change. And again, if it was a minor change, it probably wouldn't be an issue, but this is a major change from the existing regulation or setback requirements. I'm not so worried about the falling of the tower. I'm worried about having this in my backyard. And you can have a tower next to you within 80 feet of your property. I see no reason to have this in a residential area in the first place. I can't believe we're in that difficult a situation where we got to start putting these towers in residential communities. AT&T and Sprint and some of the other ones might tell you that they're in need of these, but it does destroy the property value. And if we make this change, a lot of people are going to have their value of their property diminished greatly. So that's why I'm making the request.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you. Did the attorney put anything in writing that we could read?
You're speaking on the motion to refer.
Okay, but that was brought up.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to refer this item, Resolution 1410-003, back to the Planning Commission. Vote yes to refer it back. Vote no, not to refer. Please vote.
You have 10 yeses and 9 noes.
10 yes, 9 no. The motion to refer fails. The pending motion is now the main motion to adopt Resolution 1410-003. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no, not to adopt. Commissioner Crowe, do you wish to speak?
Yes, can we have discussion on that?
We're,
At there,
you
we're
just
there.
got in under the
Okay,
wire.
before I vote, I need to make sure I understand what's being said by my fellow commissioners. Mr. Allen, you're saying that the only thing Blount County really gets to regulate is safety conditions of how far you have.
Is that a question?
Is that correct? That is a question.
Commissioner Allen, you are recognized.
Those are not regulated by the county. That's the FCC stuff. What I'm trying to say is the BZA is approving these, and they have to approve them every time they come up. They don't like going against a zoning regulation every time these cell towers come up. So they come to the Planning Commission to say, hey, can you reduce this? Because we're required to approve them every time. So the Planning Commission has now reduced the setback from 300 back to 10 feet beyond the height of the tower. So that's why it's come up. They're going to approve it whether we deny it or not.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Lewis, you're recognized.
Question for Commissioner Allen.
Ask question, sir.
Is on a request to place a cell tower that's in a residential area, is what you're saying that if they want to place that in a residential area, we don't have a right to decline that request?
Commissioner Allen, you are recognized, sir.
If it meets the FCC guidelines, we have to approve it.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized for the second time, sir.
So based on what we're told here, if we reduce that number to 10 foot taller than the tower, we are opening the door for them to be in more of a residential area than the current 300 feet, as I understand what Mr. Allen has just told us.
Is that a question or is that a statement?
I guess it's a question. Is that accurate, Mr. Allen?
Commissioner Allen, you're recognized, sir.
Whether they're in a commercial or residential area is not at all what this amendment's about. It's just the setback requirement. So whether they can put a tower in a different zone than the other zone, we're not changing that whatsoever.
By the
Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So by default, a 300-foot setback would prevent it from going a lot of different places that a 10-foot setback would allow it to go into. I guess that's something that we need to keep in mind as we're voting, regardless of where that zoning would be. It would be a lot more difficult to put something that requires a 300-foot setback in a residential area than one that only requires 10.
Commissioner Moreau, what purpose do you seek the floor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to clarify that I think we're misusing these terms. A setback is only used, if I understand it correctly, when the property adjoins undeveloped or commercial property, whereas a separation applies when you have a residentially used property. And so what we are voting on, if I understand correctly, and Mr. Fields is free to correct me, but I believe we are voting on a separation, and it has nothing to do with the setback.
Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make sure, clarify that the FCC, they don't tell you how far the setback, or whether it's 300 feet or 85 feet or whatever. Is it FCC just says you have to approve the tower, correct?
Commissioner Allen, would you address that question, sir?
Roger's in the audience, and he's going to be a lot better to answer these questions. I was looking for him.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fields, if you can answer Commissioner Caskey's question.
Thank you. Caskey.
No, he
There we
asked the
go.
question. You can answer. Refresh. All right, Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Does the FCC regulate the distance, the setback, or are they just saying you have to approve the tower?
Mr. Fields, you're recognized.
Thank you. The FCC sets guidelines for communities or municipalities or counties to go by as far as regulating cellular towers. And they're quite clear that, you know, our regulations can't be arbitrary or capricious, and you can't use visual effects or even property values to turn one down. They don't establish setbacks. They do have requirements for lighting and distances from airports. Well, that's actually FAA, but they go by more of what that tower will cover as far as space around the tower. And, you know, part of their submittal to us is a frequency map that shows what will be covered with the tower or what will not be covered if the tower's not there. So those are the kind of, they deal more with the engineering and the radio frequency, and we deal with setbacks.
Mr. Crowe, you're recognized for the second time on the main motion. If you don't push your button, let me do it. You are recognized.
Okay. I like to make sure that I understand things, and I think half of us are confused on this and getting ready to vote. Does it matter what we vote if the FCC is going to approve it? Can they approve it regardless of what we vote?
Mr. Fields, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. They don't approve the location of these. It's up to our Board of Zoning Appeals. Our Board of Zoning Appeals has kind of got a hand tied behind its back on these, though. We look at first the radio frequency and make sure that they meet all the requirements, that there is a need for the tower there. We've got a pretty extensive, the 300% is on the upper end of separation distances from residences. But if they meet all the radio frequency requirements and things like that, they would have to have specific, they're quasi-judicial, so evidence that it doesn't meet those FCC regulations to be able to turn it down. But we can regulate the distances, but what the BZA was running into, the towers are getting shorter, but they're coming closer to town. When we first started regulating towers, the requests were out in the rural areas to cover primarily roadways. Those areas are covered, and the new technology, you know, you don't have a cell phone in your pocket anymore. You've got a little computer. So it requires more towers to put out to handle the volume of users now. So they don't need the towers out in the rural area. They need them where the people live. And they've got 5 people in there playing video games. So that's why this has come, and Andy was on the BZA when all this started. So what the BZA was having to do was, our zoning regulations give them the ability to lessen our regulations if it meets the spirit of the zoning ordinance as far as cell towers are concerned. Does that kind of clear it up?
Thank you, Mr. Fields. Pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-003. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
Yeah, 11 yeses and 8 noes.
11 yes, 8 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business, the chair will stand for motion on F5, Resolution 1410-004, a resolution amending the rules regulating the procedures of the Blount County Board of Commissioners of Blount County, Tennessee. Commissioner Farmer moves to adopt. Commissioner Lewis seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 14-10-004. Discussion. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We currently have 5 business days to review information that is presented for a vote to the Commission. It is suggested we shorten that to 5 days, which could result in as little as 3 days. Under present guidelines, it is sometimes difficult for us to review what is being proposed, and this will only be compounded if we go to fewer days allowed. Would someone please explain to me how it is advantageous for us to limit our fact-finding to as little as 3 days? We owe our commissioners and citizens more. I am aware that it is sometimes difficult for proposals to meet a 5 business day required schedule. Am I then to assume that scheduling difficulties take precedent over our due diligence? The simple solution is to move the scheduling issue to the following meeting. I can see no possible advantage to having fewer days for information gathering and public discussion than we now are allotted. If it is decided to amend the present 5 business day requirement, it will be a disservice to the Commission and to the constituents that we represent. We need a reasonable amount of time to pursue details of upcoming amendments and changes. And as was stated earlier, we are all familiar with the phrase, we must pass it in order to see what is in it. Let us not follow the lead of Washington and make the same avoidable mistakes that will emanate from a shortened examination period. Thank you.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had my first 2 meetings with my 2 committee assignments this week, and I walked into both meetings and was handed the packet when I got there. That's how little time I had to review the information. It was put in front of me at the meeting. So the only thing that we have in our rules that has any requirement for giving advance notice to the commission, advanced information to the commissioners and to the public is the rules governing our commission board meeting. So I would like to add an amendment to this so that we have some regulations governing our committee assignments. So I move to amend the resolution by adding a new section, number 5, immediately following change number 4, that would become 16E in the board rules, stating the following. All committee chairmen shall furnish the members of each respective committee with the tentative agenda and a meeting packet containing relevant supporting documentation not less than 5 days prior to the meeting date.
5 days?
Yes.
Calendar days?
Yes.
Do you have your amendment
Wording.
writing? If you could please deliver that to the chair.
Certainly. I'll do that next time, I promise. I apologize.
Okay, we have an amendment to the resolution. All committee chairmen shall furnish the members of each respective committee with the tentative agenda and meeting packet containing relevant supporting documentation not less than 5 days prior to the meeting date. Is there a second? Commissioner Archer seconds. Discussion on the amendment.
May I? Mr.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you,
Speak
Mr.
on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What this would simply do is just say that you can't be handed a packet the moment you walk into a committee meeting. Why should that be the case for all of these committees? These committees make important decisions and forward the information. Certainly the Budget Committee and the planning commission have their, or planning and the purchasing commission have their packets in advance. So I think it would be a great benefit to the entire community and to all of the committee members to have a packet handed to them 5 days prior. So if we're going to make these changes to the rules, they should apply to all committees. And it doesn't, you know, I left the word working out because some people want to change that. So I'm just asking that we include that. I think it would be a great benefit to our community and to our commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized to speak on the motion to amend.
Thank you. I thought my light wasn't working. Yes, I agree. It's very difficult. Like this month, for this meeting, it was 300 plus pages, which I can read that. But I don't take anything looking at it the first time. I like to dig in and see where it came from. Thank you.
Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized.
I myself need the time, and I support this, and I'm finding it very difficult to get through all the work myself. So I'm supporting this.
Commissioner Samples, you're recognized, sir.
I'll just say this up front. We've had packets where there's been 2,200 pages before. But my point is this: if we adopt this amendment by Commissioner Monroe, then I think we have to adopt a deadline for getting the information to the chairman. Because having been chairman, I would hate to have a meeting at Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and somebody hand me something at 6 p.m. that night before. You didn't say anything about a deadline for adding an agenda. No, I'll leave that to you. That's your motion.
Commissioner Archer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It would seem to me that, again, to go back to my original statement, unless I don't understand something, if there is a scheduling issue where you can't get the information for that particular meeting, then I would say that it should go to the next meeting. Am I missing something there? I mean, it really is important for us to do our due diligence. I mean, we're representing a lot of people, and we've been elected to represent them in an intelligent manner. And if we have our time limited as to what we can read and what we can study, I think we're doing a great disservice. Thank you.
Commissioner Samples, you're recognized for the second time on the motion to amend.
I don't disagree with what Commissioner Archer's saying. I'm saying, I'm trying to defend whatever chairmen are sitting here, that you can't hand them something 2 hours before the 5-day deadline and expect them to change everything they've got together. So I think there needs to be some idea or some proposal about when you need to get it to the chairman to give him an ample time to prepare something. You can't do it if you've got a 10-member committee and you get the stuff an hour ahead of time.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Okay, on that vein, would it be in order for me to amend my amendment?
State your amendment.
Okay, I just want to simply add a separate sentence that says that all members shall have all relevant supporting documentation to the chairman. Why don't we say 7 days prior to the meeting? And if this body wants to amend the packet down to 3 days and make it get to the chairman by 5 days, I will support that. I would prefer it be longer, but if we can get something in our rules.
Commissioner Monroe asks unanimous consent to amend her amendment to say all members shall have relevant information to the chairman 7 days before the meeting. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, so ordered. The amendment now reads that all committee chairmen shall furnish the members of each respective committee with a tentative agenda and meeting packet containing relevant supporting documentation not less than 5 days prior to the meeting date. All members shall have all relevant information to the chairman 7 days before the meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to amend the resolution adding Commissioner Monroe's amendment, which I just read. Vote yes to amend. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized. I need to remind the commission, we have an agenda meeting which deals with the items usually that are on this agenda. So you're looking at probably 3 weeks. Well, at least around 10 days to 2 weeks you have this information. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized.
Again, it seems to me that we should have both of these similar. If we're going to have, if we vote in favor of what is in front of us, both will require 5 days and not 5 working days. Is that correct?
No, we're voting on the amendment. The amendment is to furnish, the committee chairman shall furnish each respective committee the tentative agenda and meeting packet containing relevant supporting documents not less than 5 days prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Etc.
Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Farmer, would you seek the floor?
We're currently speaking on a motion to amend.
Correct.
The amendment has now been amended.
We haven't voted on it. It's the pending motion.
My point is, it was a simple thing that we started to change from 5 working days to 5 days in accordance with what a lot of other groups and organizations have done, in line with the fact current times every day in essence is a working day. Everyone's on their emails every day. Everyone's on their computers every day. We're not waiting on the mail to run anymore. I understand we're now voting on it, but as I see it, what the amendment in essence is doing is reverting us back to 7 days instead of 5.
The amendment on the 7 days is having the information to the chair
Of the committee.
of the committee, which we are a committee. And the agenda committee is a committee. Are we clear on that? So we're voting, if we approve this amendment, 5 days the items will be in the packet. Information that wants to be placed in the packet or on the agenda should come to the chairman 7 days but prior to the meeting. So are we clear what the pending motion is? Vote yes to amend the resolution.
May I recognize Mr. Vineyard, please?
Mr. Vineyard.
This is a selfish question, but given the budget committee, how does this impact what we would recommend out of our committee to the agenda committee, which meets the next day?
The budget committee is a committee of the mayors, not a committee of this commission.
But the agenda committee is this body.
Correct.
So I'm asking, how does the amendment impact the product of the budget committee that comes to the agenda committee, which is a committee of this body?
It'll put you under added stress.
We're always looking for that.
And I'm glad that we can see humor in this, but we must realize the topic, this amendment is going to impact county government and how county government operates. So do not take it lightly. Are the members? Mr. Vineyard, to recognize.
If I may make one more comment. Could the budget committee be exempted from this amendment?
Be in order, be in order.
I'm very concerned that we will have legitimate discourse and business that needs to come before this body that on a technicality would not be allowed.
Commissioner Monroe, you recognize for what purpose you seek the floor.
I am totally agreeable to that, because anything that goes through the budget committee traditionally goes through the agenda committee before it gets to the commission. So I will accept that. We can put a clause on the end of that sentence excluding items from the budget committee.
Is there objection of the body to exempting the budget committee from the amendment? Hearing no objection, so ordered. Are the members, Commissioner Allen, do you seek the floor?
I'd like to exempt the agenda committee from this rule altogether, because there's other committees that meet within that 7 days, and I'd like to see it get on the agenda.
I'll take that as a declaratory statement, a part of discussion. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the amendment. Vote no. Ask question, sir.
Did we add Commissioner Allen's?
He made a statement. He didn't make a motion.
I would like to ask for that to be added without objection if we're going through with this.
Request is unanimous consent to remove and exempt the agenda committee from this amendment.
Yes.
Is there objection? Hearing no objection, so ordered. The pending motion is to amend the resolution by all committee chairmen shall furnish the members of each respective committee with the tentative agenda and meeting packet containing relevant supporting documentation no less than 5 days prior to the meeting date. All members shall have all relevant information to the chairman 7 days prior to the committee meeting, and the agenda meeting and the budget committee are exempt. Vote yes to approve the amendment. Vote no not to approve. Commissioner.
You have 13 yeses and 6.
13 yes, 6 noes. The amendment passes. Now the pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-004 as amended. Discussion. Commissioner.
Actually, I wanted to discuss the amendment, but you saw fit not to recognize me, so I'll make my statement now. We have bent it, we have turned it, we have amended it, we have twisted it. I won't even support it now.
Are the members ready for the questions? Pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-004 as amended. Please vote. Commissioner Miller.
You have 6 yeses and 13 noes.
6 yes, 13 no. The motion fails. The next item of business is F6. The chair will stand for motion on F6, Resolution 1410-002, resolution naming the bridge at Old Wallen Highway, Wallen, Tennessee, the Gordon Edward Wright Sr. Memorial Bridge.
So moved.
Commissioner Samples moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Melton seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-002. Discussion. Commissioner Daly.
Yes, I got 2 emails from people in Wallen, and I got to talk to one of the ladies, and one of the ladies had posted on Facebook, for those of you who are familiar with Facebook, and when I was on there yesterday, there were 17 shares, 17 shares, 34 comments. Now, if you know anything about Facebook, this is about naming the bridge. And they felt that the name of the bridge should have something to do with their history and heritage in the area. And I know it's not appropriate at the time, but I would like to delay this too, because the people of Wallen deserve to name the bridge that is in Wallen themselves. And that has nothing to do with Gordon Wright. Yes, I so move.
Okay, you're postponing indefinitely, so you're going to kill this motion if there's a second. Is there a second?
What do you mean it'll kill it?
Commissioner Miller seconds. Discussion on a motion to postpone indefinitely. Commissioner Samples, do you wish to speak on a motion to postpone?
With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear from the two commissioners from that district and their preference. That's all I have.
Commissioner Samples, I can't compel another commissioner to speak. Commissioner Bowers, you are recognized.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I've been contacted by 2 or 3 constituents in my area, and I do support this resolution honoring Mr. Wright. I think he was a great leader. I've had some concerns about naming that particular bridge about him, but I would entertain. I think we should name a bridge after him. I'm wondering if there's one in Townsend that does not have a name that might be more appropriate to be named after him.
He's not seeking the floor. Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Caskey, you recognize you have to push the button, sir.
I did. Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. I support the resolution. I've talked to, I was fortunate enough to have conversations with Mr. Wright before he passed. I think he is a longtime resident. He did a lot of good. His heart was in the right place, and I think that is proper recognition, and I support the resolution.
The pending motion is to postpone indefinitely. Just a minute. Just a minute. I recognize the pending motion is to postpone indefinitely this resolution. Commissioner Bowers, you're recognized.
I'd just like to make the comment that I do support this resolution.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to postpone this item indefinitely. Vote yes to postpone. Vote no not to postpone.
You have 5 yeses, 14 noes.
The motion to postpone fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-002. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 18 yeses and 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F7. The chair will stand for motion on F7. Resolution 1410-005, a resolution to approve the memorandum of understanding between Blount County, Tennessee, the Blount County Sheriff's Office, the 5th Judicial Drug Task Force for the allocation and use of county property. Commissioner Carver moves. Commissioner Hedrick seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-005. Commissioner Daly, you're recognized.
When I was looking over the material on this resolution, there were 3 conflicting comments made about what the county would or would not pay for if it was sold or was taken away. I would like clarification on this resolution. Let me find out, I've got the wrong one. The county shall reimburse the task force the increased value considering depreciation. Is that the correct term in this resolution? That's all I want to know.
Commissioner Kaler, the sponsor, is not present. I'll call on Commissioner Carver if he'll answer the question.
My understanding is that what is invested by the 5th Judicial Drug Task Force to revitalize this property and utilize it, that would be what would be reimbursed back to them if it was sold. If the value is something what they invest in it is what they would get back. There's no increased value to it.
Thank you, Commissioner Carver. Commissioner Daly, do you have another question?
Okay. There are 3 different documents that we were given. One said the county would make certain reimbursements to the task force. And another said the task force will reimburse the value of the improvements at the time of the sale or removal. And then the third one says the county shall reimburse the task force the increased value considering depreciation. I just want to know which one of those belongs to this resolution that we're discussing now.
Commissioner Carver.
Again, the way I understand it is that the amount of money that they invest to repair the damage to the buildings, if it can be repaired, it may be that some have to be torn down, but that money that they invest is the only amount that they'll receive back. If the county, if it improved the value of the, increased the value of the property, still, it's the amount of money that the 5th Judicial Task Force invested in it would be what they would receive back with the sale being, if there was a sale.
I'm not against this, it's just not clear which is the correct statement.
My understanding is what I just said.
I know, but it doesn't, you didn't say anything about depreciation.
Depreciation?
Commissioners, I think the question's been answered. Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When we were discussing this item, I asked that specific question on what would have to be reimbursed, and we were told that it was only the amount that the Drug Task Force actually spent. That's all we would have to reimburse, should the county even decide to take the property back. That was my understanding.
Commissioner Lewis, you're recognized.
What it actually says under item 6 is the value of the improvements on reimbursement will necessarily take into consideration any depreciation that has occurred to said improvements. So my understanding is you would reimburse the cost of the improvement less any depreciation that has occurred since the improvements were done.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the agenda meeting, I asked for the federal law, and we were given guidelines. It doesn't actually give the federal law. However, I note in the guidelines, at the risk of sounding redundant on should versus shall, on page 54 under C, it says capital improvements should not be made on leased property or space since the law enforcement agency will not benefit. Should is not shall. Do we have to reimburse them for the improvements or not? I mean, the opinion of the attorney was that we do. I see that in the packet, but it says should not be made. So my question is, if these improvements are made, which the the resolution states the property is currently in a state of dilapidation and disrepair, so that would imply that there's going to have to be a lot of work done to this. So my question is will the 5th Judicial Drug Task Force or the Sheriff's Department have to obtain approval for any repairs to the facility? Will they have to go through this body, or can they just spend money, and then if they decide to move out 2 or 3 years from now, we've got to reimburse them and we had no oversight? I'm not comfortable voting for something if we don't have any oversight on how much money is going to be spent. So if I could get an answer to that, I would appreciate it. Do we?
Mr. Vineyard, can you address that question?
Money spent by the Drug Task Force is not subject to budgeting under state law. It's an agency fund and therefore exempt from.
Okay, may I follow up on it? Are we, it's exempt, but are we as a body allowed to, in the memorandum of understanding, require them to come back to us?
Mr. Vineyard?
This body, what is before you is to allow the Sheriff's Department to use this as the lead agency within the Drug Task Force.
So the Sheriff's Department would have to make the
Monroe,
sorry.
State your comment or question.
So the Sheriff's Department would have would be the only say-so on the improvements at this point. So, okay, so I would like to amend the memorandum of understanding. Let me pull that up, sorry. Bear with me, I'll get the page. Okay, on page, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Okay, on page 54, under section D, after the sentence expense, I would like to amend to add the following. The Sheriff's Department shall seek and obtain commission approval for any improvements or repairs to the facility that exceed $1,000.
Okay, give me the page number, please. Again, 54?
It's 49.
49.
Yes. D, under the memorandum.
And you want to insert where?
After D, after
D, item D.
Yes.
After their sole expense period.
Yes.
Insert, give me the language.
The Sheriff's Department shall seek and obtain commission approval for any improvements or repairs to the facility that exceed $1,000.
Is there a second? Commissioner Miller seconds. Motion is to amend by inserting that the Blount County Sheriff's Department seek and receive commission approval for any improvements over $1,000. Discussion. Commissioner Monroe, do you wish to speak?
I just feel like that since we're writing, I understand what the state law is, thank you, Mr. Vineyard, but we are writing this memorandum of understanding, and we have an obligation in the event, because there is a provision in here that says that the drug task force, if in the event that they're removed from the property, so I have the question of who could remove them. Could the city of Maryville remove them, because this property was just cited for 19 code violations? So we may not even have final say. So I mean, I would like some oversight if potentially we have the expense in the future of reimbursing, so we need some oversight. We've got to be careful. This is a building that is in disrepair, as this resolution states. Thank you.
Commissioner Carver, you're recognized.
I would like to recognize Randy Vineyard, please.
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized.
I'm not quibbling with anybody wanting oversight over anything. The issue is to make this, we were trying to make this pretty simple. We're merely saying we're taking a county asset, designating control of that asset to the sheriff's department, and then the sheriff's department in turn, through its role in the drug task force, would oversee the use by the drug task force and its board of directors for that property. Any money to be expended on that property would be resources of the drug task force. And then there is state law that is very clear that that money comes from a certain source and can only be used for certain sources. And then we've got citations from the Attorney General verifying all that. And it's TCA 3917-420C.
Commissioner Farmer, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item E is very clear. The memorandum of understanding is very clear. I don't see a reason why we need to go in and amend it.
Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been in the building. I've been spoken with the codes enforcement people. It will be a very expensive redo. This motion here to for $1,000, we'd be oversighting it almost every week. They'll spend multiple $1,000s getting this building back into shape. So we can't tie their hands and keep them from doing their job.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized for the second time. No,
Thank you.
First time on
Yes. Okay, what our financial director just said has me a little scared. I know that the drug task cannot spend money on property. So,
that's not true. They can spend money
well,
on
that's
property.
what I understood that was just said. No?
The prohibition is the drug task force cannot own real estate.
Okay, that's what I had thought before. Then I have nothing to say.
Commissioner Samples.
I call for the question, please.
Move previous questions. There's a second.
Second.
There's a second. Vote yes to end discussion on the amendment. Vote no, not to end discussion on the amendment. Please vote.
We have 18 yeses and 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no. Motion to move previous question carries. Vote yes to approve the amendment. Vote no, not to approve the amendment.
We have 10 yeses and 9 noes.
10 yes, 9 noes. The motion to amend fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-005. Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Monroe, what purpose do you seek the floor?
This resolution says that in the event that they are removed, who can remove them? The sheriff, the city of Maryville, this commission, the mayor? Who could remove them? Codes?
Item E addresses that.
And it states Blount County.
It says or sold. The clause before that says in the event that they are removed. It doesn't state who can remove. It just says or if it's sold by Blount County.
Obviously, we have the commission. Blount County has control of the property or this item wouldn't be before us.
Okay. All right. So the only person, could the sheriff remove them?
He's the agent in charge, but it could come back to the commission. Ultimately, it's the Blount County. The entity of Blount County has control of all property.
Okay. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the just Commissioner Hedrick, you recognized?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say that I hit the wrong button, and I'm for the Drug Task Force moving in and doing what they need to do.
Commissioner Allen, you're recognized, sir.
Quick clarification on this. We're voting yes. They have to come before and get a commissional approval. No, that failed. I'm confused. I apologize.
The pending motion is to adopt the resolution unamended, as is before you, as has been in the packet. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt resolution 1410-005. Vote no not to adopt the resolution. Commissioner Carter, you're recognized.
I need another clarification.
The pending motion is to adopt the resolution number 1410-005, a resolution to approve the memorandum of understanding between Blount County, Tennessee, the Blount County Sheriff's Office, and the 5th Judicial Drug Task Force for the allocation and use of county property. If you vote yes, you're adopting the resolution and therefore approving the memorandum. If you vote no, you're voting against adoption, therefore you're disapproving the memorandum. Are we clear?
Thank you.
There's 16 yeses and 3 noes.
16 yes, 3 no. I have not announced the outcome of the vote, so changing your vote is in order. How would you like to be changed? Yes, based on the clarification. So the correct tally, as I understand it, is 17 yes, 2 no. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk? Now the resolution's adopted. The next item of business is item F9. The chair will stand for a motion on F9, Resolution 1410-011, a resolution authorizing Blount County to join the litigation to recover tax revenue from Maryville and Alcoa based on the sale of alcoholic beverages.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Farmer moves. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Caskey seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-011. Commissioner Carter, you're recognized. Your light was lit. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Who would be the attorney on this if we join? Would it be the school board's attorney, or is it going to be Mr. Garrett?
Mr. Garrett drafted the resolution and made the phone calls to acquire the 2 sponsors. So it will be the county attorney, Craig Garrett. Any other questions? Or Commissioner Miller, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have a question in regards to the legal fees that will be involved. Will the Blount County be responsible for all the costs, or will it be shared with the school board too? Be split between the school board and the county government?
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized, and you can make any comments on this matter.
You were correct that Mr. Garrett will be involved in litigation, but the board's attorney will be, he'll be working in concert with the board's attorney.
And Mr. Vineyard, can you also give some information on why this came about? Would you be so kind to give that information to the commission?
There are a number of local governments across the state that have not been distributing mixed drink taxes as the current law prescribes. Blount County does not fall into that category. We believe we have followed the letter of the law. The money gets distributed on an ADA basis to education, all those proceeds collected in Blount County. The cities across the state have been handling it in a different manner. They have taken the position in general that if they have a municipal school system, then they do not need to split those dollars on an ADA basis, that they would retain all those dollars. The litigation seeks to resolve the differences in how counties and cities treat those proceeds.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard. Are the members ready for the question? The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-011. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
We have 18 yeses and 1 no.
18 yes, 1 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F10. The chair will stand for a motion on F10, Resolution 1410-010. A resolution to suspend the disbursement of any and all funding previously approved regarding Courthouse software system pending compliance with previous commitments to provide the commission with detailed information. Commissioner Monroe moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Akert seconds. Commissioner Farmer, do you wish to recognize the mayor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vineyard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was some reference, and I've included in the packet, as was requested, the reason this matter did not come before the body in October. The matter comes before this body in November, the matter being the contract, which references all the specificity I think that most people have expressed an interest in. Previously, Commission has approved a budget and only a budget. There have been no monies expended to this point because we don't have a contract that authorizes us to spend any money. That matter comes before this body next month. And I might add, it is not a normal way to do business to put a proposal on the street to solicit interest from vendors to do work for a public body, proceed for almost a year, following the letter of the law to the best of our ability and the process to the best of our ability, and notifying everyone of interest to the best of our ability, and then basically undo everything that's been approved to this point. This community will lose a great deal of credibility with the business community when we go out and try to seek proposals.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
A simple explanation instead of a hostile look would have stopped this. As far as the year, this commission was left in the dark. The previous commissioner, Foltz, pointed out that we weren't told information about this committee that brought it to this commission. We didn't have, this body did not have knowledge of it for nearly a year. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The motion is to adopt Resolution 1410-010. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 7 yeses and 12 noes.
7 yes, 12 noes. The resolution fails. The next item on the agenda is agenda item G, statements and announcements. The chair has one announcement. You will find in the packet a calendar for information only for 2015. Review it. You will be voting on it in November or December's meeting. We run a full-page legal notice in January that announces all the meeting times. So please review it. Are there additional announcements? Commissioner Melton? Commissioner Melton, do you have an announcement tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob Evans was a commissioner with us for, maybe he was on the commission 16 years. He passed away recently, and I'd like for everybody to remember his family in their prayers. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized.
Yes, what happened to Resolution 1410-008?
It was passed unanimously on the consent calendar. You voted on it.
Yes, I thought you changed the number. You didn't? Thank you.
Commissioner Hedrick, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at these resolutions tonight, specifically 1410-008, 1410-010, that have been submitted. And I don't remember these being before the commission at the agenda meeting.
Commissioner, they were properly submitted to the clerk 5 working days before this meeting. Continue.
Okay. I don't see how these resolutions were presented to be placed on the agenda without the rest, the other commissioners being notified that if they want to be a part of it. I'm not disputing the content, just not knowing.
They were in the packet as it was published. All 3 were. So.
Okay. I don't recall them at the agenda meeting. So thank you.
Seeing no lights, we'll move to the next item H, input on items not on the agenda. Ms. King.
Thank you. I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future. In the past, if you look on the Blount County website, you've always been able to get email addresses for all of our commissioners. And it seems now that there are phone numbers and addresses, but it's not showing email addresses. And in the past, people used that to contact their commissioners. And the way it looks now is we're going to have to go through a third party to send in our email and then have it, I guess, approved before it was sent on to a commissioner. And I don't think that's good for transparent government. I think we need to have the emails. They always, before, had a Tennessee Blount TN email address, and I think that's what our commissioners need to have. We could actually send to 21 commissioners a statement if we wanted to, or you could contact someone hoping that they'll get your email. Sometimes you make a phone call, they don't call you back, or you leave a message on a machine, or they don't answer at all. Where with an email, you figure that, at least you hope, that they'll read the message. So I would like to see on our website, again, an email address for each of our commissioners so that it's very transparent and open. Thank you.
One comment, my email still works. Does anyone else have a problem with getting their emails? Ms. Pitts, why is that not on our website? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I know all the cards in the commission office have the email addresses on the cards. So, are there any other announcements or statements? We've completed tonight's agenda. The chair will stand for a motion to adjourn. This meeting is adjourned.